Hello, this is Danny from Danny Design Studio, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Kent here in the UK, and this is my class in a box, which is all about masculine cards. This is the first card we're going to be doing, and we are using the Brood for You and Brood, what's it called? Brood Dies. From the brand new annual catalogue, and this is the lovely new catalogue. If you haven't got one and you'd like to be sent one, please get in touch with me, because I will, as long as I have your address, I'll definitely send you one. That's here in the UK or Europe. So this month we are basing our cards on this lovely stamp set. So you have the option to buy the stamp set and the sponge daubers as well, or you could just have the basic package. So next month here in the UK is Father's Day, and I thought it'd be nice to devote this month to male cards. So these cards can be adapted for Father's Day. And this month's class is all around a technique of using sponge daubers to create depth and texture. I don't know whether you can see on this first card, it's basically using tone on tone. The coloured cardstock use the same stamping pad, same colour on the same card with your sponge dauber. So on here I've used Early Espresso to create some depth around these corners here, especially when using the same colour on the same card base. It gives it a little bit more depth, and I'm not sure whether that's picking it up on camera. And again here, this is actually a white little die cut here, but I've actually created so it looks a little bit more vintagey. And if you can see, these dies are just gorgeous. In this, I don't always do it because I think it's important to learn the sizes of cards and card bases and layering, and I think it's good to know all these sizes off by heart. For this project and this month's class, I have done all the cutting for you, but I have given you instructions for the exact measurements if you do want to create this again. So and all of these little die cuts are sort of fiddly bits, so this will cut out 3 little bits, and I have stuck this on for you, and as you can see, it's got some lovely texture in there. It's got all the bubbles of the drink, and I think that's what makes it. And you're creating with your sponge daubers a 3D effect. I thought this was really a good technique to learn with, if you didn't have the stamp set and you just had the dies, for example, and the card, then and sponge daubers, and that's all you need. You wouldn't need the stamp set. But having said that, I do like the stamp set for the actual sentiments, and I've used these little images as well, because I think that creates different sort of cards as well. And I have used this, which has been really handy for male cards. So these are for this card I've used Soft Suede, Sahara Stand, Early Espresso and Crumb Cake. So we're going to start off with the Early Espresso. Now, in each of your little cellophane packets you have a card base, you have everything you need, you have the envelope, you have the insert. I'm not going to do the insert today. I'm just going to be doing just showing you how I have done the sponge dauber and that sort of technique. So you've got a tent fold card that's already pre-cut for you. You've got some bricks, which is the same size as this die cut, or it's slightly smaller, it's a millimetre smaller. So if you feel you need to trim that a little bit, you could do. Now what we need to do is, before we put all that together, we need to, you've got your little die for your sentiment, you've got your beers as well. So let's do the bigger bit here. So I've got early espresso. Oops. And I'm going to get a good lot on my sponge dauber. I'm going to take some of that off because we get a very harsh sort of depth of colour then. We don't want all of that colour. Now first of all, I'm going to just do the edge around here, and I'm just going to do a sort of an action that goes away from me. Now already, I don't know whether you can see that, you've got a little bit of colour, depth of colour on there, and you could sort of leave it like that, or you could go ahead and just do a little bit more. So again, I've sort of rubbed it off on my paper, and then a swirling motion on the edge. And again, I think I will just do the edge all around. Now with this, the thing is, you get very messy. And what I would say is, I would just wash your hands in between the cards. So again, I've done that side, and I'm going to do this side, and I'm sorry if the camera is going to be shaking now. So sort of a swirling motion, and last side. There we go. So you can just see it picks up a little bit of that colour. So that's that one done. And then I'm going to stick that on to my wall, but I need some dimensionals to create again just some depth. So the beers are basically going to be in between, is like on a sort of windowsill or on a ledge, so it gives that appearance. And if it's a 3D sort of effect, it sort of gives that appearance. So then I've got to stand up for this, otherwise I need to be dead right first time. Right, as I'm not there, I'm just going to cut that off so we don't see it. It's quite good in a way that happened, then you know what to do. I'm sure you do know what to do, but sometimes it's quite good to make these little mistakes. Right, then I'm going to use the wet glue and stick that on. You're sticking it in centrally like that. So that creates your card base. So then we've got our drinks, which is sort of going to sit on this edge. Okay, so as I said before, I've stuck this down for you. So this is Sahara Sand, that's that card, and this is Crumb Cake, so that is what I'm going to use. So that is the Sahara Sand that I've used. Now again, you really don't need a huge amount, get the excess off. So you've only got, I'm going to put it there so you can see it a little bit. So I'm going to do it around here first. Just going to test it again. Yeah, I've really got not a huge amount on. Well, you can see because I haven't got, there we go. Just going to lightly do it to start with, and then build it up. You may not be able to see that, but so around this froth, just a little touch. You can see if that's picking up. You can see it a little bit, can't you? And that's all you need. So I've done that one. And then I'm going to do the crumb cake on this one. And again, just slightly around the edge. You really don't want to be heavy-handed on this because you can't go back. It's best to be very light in your technique and build the colour up. Swirly motions, and really I don't put more colour on because I know that it's just going to be too dark, but I know that there is colour on there still, so I'm happy with that. And then my sentiment is crumb cake again, to make it a sort of vintagey look. Tap the excess off, swirly motions, makes a lot of difference. And if you want to get a more defined edge, you can again brush it away like that, and you get more of a defined edge. So if you look at that compared to that side, it's sort of very flat, whereas here it's got a bit of depth to it, and it's just different sort of style, more vintage style. So then we need to take our stamp set, and I have got another round for your birthday on there, so I'm going to use that one again because I think that looks quite appropriate, and I think I have done that in soft suede. So I'm going to do that again. Get a block and just stand up for this. Make sure I get it right. Just going to test it out. I'm happy with that. So in the middle. And that's it. So now I'm ready to build up my picture. So that, I want the handle out, I want the froth on the top there, but I want to tuck that in a little bit. So that means I need glue on the handle, and I need glue just on there, and a bit of glue on the base. So try and memorize that. Glue on the base, bit on the handle, and a bit on the top here. And that's all I'm going to do. So it's going to be tucked inside here, handle out, that on there, and that's it. Now then this one is going to be placed, you've got to get that top of the froth within that frame. So I'm going to put some glue on there and glue on the base, and that's it. So glue on here, glue on the base, and that's it. There we go. And then that I'm going to pop on there. So that's going to be glue on there and glue on there. Now I could put little dimensionals, just try and get some out. Got some mini dimensionals here. There we go. So mini dimensionals on here, those two corners, and then some glue there and there. Not too much because it will squish out. And just see where you're likely to position it, and I'm going to be quite happy there. So there we go. And then I've given you some little gems. So some of you have got these gorgeous rustic gems. I'm not going to put that on at the moment because I haven't got enough for all of you. So you can decorate it with that, or you can decorate it with these little water droplet things, or there are some black ones as well, and that's your choice, but I'll leave that up to you to do. Okay, so that is the first one. Then we have got the second one, which is that. And for here, in your little pack, you have got exactly the same. I'm not going to show you how to do the inserts because I think you know how to do that. But that is my card. Let me just turn this over so you can see what we're doing. So that's the card. So you've got two pieces of card the same. One's going to go inside. I'm going to leave that there. And then I have used here some pear pizzazz. I'm just going to get oops, there's pear pizzazz. Now this is quite dark, so we want to use it sort of sparingly really. So just take a lot of it off until you get to sort of this colour here. This is too dark and it will be just too stark. So you just want, because this is a white card, so you're going to just do it gently like this. And just swirl it up. And what I would do is I would have a practice on a spare piece of card maybe, because it's easy to just go wrong, and I think it requires a little bit of practice. So I'm going to rub off. As you can see, I want to get it this light, not that light, this light. I mean, you might like it like that, but I think it's a little bit too dark. If you had a dark piece of card, it would be okay, but you've got white card, so you've got to think it's just too much of a contrast. So I'm happy with that, I think. Don't want to go too much. I think that is fine. Actually put that aside. I'm going to do some of my, I need that, those two. Got my little bottle. So this is the next thing. I'm going to do that again and take some of it off, and I want to have the bottle so it looks like there is fluid at the bottom. So this is all going to be darker. And then just a little bit at the top to create some texture. And I'm sure the camera is moving and I can't do anything about that. And I think that is enough. So I've created my bottle. If you want to, you can do your leaves as well. Don't know where my leaves have gone. Oopsie daisy, I have lost my leaves. Okay, well, maybe I didn't need leaves, I don't know. Who knows? That's the insert. Oh, there they are. Always do this. A couple of leaves in here. There we go. You could, if you wanted to create some texture on those leaves. Shall I just show you? You might not be able to see. It's just the edging on those leaves, which probably hasn't picked it up on the camera, but you get the gist. When you do it, you'll see. So I need, now I always, some people will put their sentiment on after they've glued that on. I don't do it because if I go wrong for any reason, I've lost the base, card base plus this. So I would prefer not to do that. So I think this is garden green, so I'm going to use garden green for this, and I'm going to use the sentiment Oh Ale Yes, because that looks like an old-fashioned ale bottle. So I'm just going to stamp this onto the white. Just going to make sure I've inked it all up right, and that's just going to go on there. And then we're ready to build. So this is just going to have some wet glue on it. Again, I don't put a huge amount of wet glue on. It all squidges out. There we go. And then you've got these two of the little inserts. I'm just going to first of all build the picture, only because I don't know the height. Here I've got a tall plant and here I haven't got so tall. So I'm just going to see where it comes on my card before I stick anything on. So that's going to go there. Leaves, going to go there. And this is a bit of fussy cutting. So you've got a flower pot and some leaves. Now this is fussy cutting. I've done a bit of it so that if anybody doesn't know how to fussy cut, you just leave a little tiny border, and it's a case of getting your sharp snips and sort of doing it round so that you don't have too many little snips, because it doesn't look very uniform. I used glue on my scissors and now they've got glue on them and they're sticking to everything. So you don't see the bottom on here. So that bit you're going to tuck underneath. And I sort of want that like this, sort of bit of movement really. So that needs to go over a little bit. This leaf needs to go within the card frame, so I can't have that too far. So I think what I'm going to do is stick this down. And I want to put this right to the edge. This one is on dimensionals. Cut this. Use all the edges. Good not to waste any bit of the dimensionals. And that sort of going to go there. And then put my plant on. Now the plant, the leaves, I think I'll put the leaves on first actually, because I know that the leaf has to be within the card bit. I don't want to crush the leaves in the envelope, so I'm going to pop that there, and then I can position the plant pot. So the plant pot, this part's raised and that part's not, so I'm going to put a little raised mini dimensional on that bit. And I know that that bit here needs to have a bit of glue. There, like that. Oh, spilt a little bit. And then this is going to go like this. Be quite nice to have a little bit of a leaf coming down like that, or over it. So this can just be glue on the bottom and have that leaf coming over. And then you've got a bit of movement, which is quite nice. It looks more sort of 3D-ish in there. I mean, I know when you when you put it in the envelope, it's going to fall flat, but at least you've got a little bit of everything's not all stuck down. So there, just a little bit of glue, the tiniest bit, if you can get it out. And same with these envelopes now. I've got envelopes, leaves rather. So now I've got far too much on there. I'm just gonna take a bit off, which I need about 3 hands. So that's one's gonna go there. That one's not too bad. It'll go. Pop that on there. And then there. So again, you've got some little gems to put on, and obviously your insert as well, but you know how to do that. So that's your second card done. Now I'm just going to tidy up, and I'm just going to put another piece of paper on, just because it's nice for you to see a clean bit of paper. Then we've got this lovely card. So let me just see what you can see. Yep. So you've got this lovely card here, which is the beautiful textured wooden bit here. So I'm going to show you how to use in this bit a little an embossing folder. So this is your card layering. You've got a cream envelope, you've got a card base, a card insert. So I'm going to put those aside. So you're going to build up your layers, because this is the layer that you're going to use. Now I'm going to just show you how I have done this this layering, which I'm going to try and find. So I need my embossing folder, 3D embossing folder, which is just beautiful. I love it. It's lovely for men's cards. So it sort of creates a wooden bark effect. So you've got the indentations and you've got the raised bits. So you put you put your card in here and sort of place it in there. Pop this down with the folded part, that end. You get your stamp and emboss tool, and you need on here, on the thick platform, you've got 1 and 4. Using the 3D embossing folders, you've got what you need. So you've got this thick big plate with the folded end going in first, and then you need number 4. So you need 1 and 4 as a sandwich, and then you pop it through. Let's put this away. Need about 4 tables, and look at that, gorgeous, love it. So you then want to create some texture on this. So you've got your let's put the card here so we can see what we're doing. So you have got your little beer, and I'm going to put this stuck on here. So again, I have stuck this together for you, because otherwise you just get lots of bits in your little cellophane packet. Just going to wipe that off, put too much glue there. So that's that. I've then got my little leaf and plant, and I'm going to put my sentiment on there as well. But I need to put texture on here. I need to put texture on the wood, for the wood. And what I have done is I have used, I think, soft suede, but I'm not sure. Maybe crumb cake. Let me test it out. So let's get the sponge Dauber, and that's crumb cake. And then you can really see, oh look, I'm gonna put that on there. Hopefully that won't show once I've got, this is the problem when you've got, you work with the sponge daubers, it creates, gets your fingers all dirty. So you can see that the wood grain comes up a little bit. It's lovely, I love it. It's amazing. So again, rub that off a little bit. Just get that texture to show up. So there we go. I'm happy with that. I don't want to do it too dark. Now I've got to cover up my finger marks on this. So again, that is crumb cake. I've got crumb cake here. So I'm going to rub it off. Do more sort of a darker area around the actual glass, because it's already coloured card, but the white you have to be slightly gentle with. You don't want too much colour on that, otherwise just look like a mess. There, and I'm going to stop there and put that away. Now the next thing is to pick up this little sentiment, and I'm going to use another round for your birthday. Oh, and I need to clean that because I've used that already, haven't I? So let's clean that, and I need some Versamark. I've heat embossed that, so I'm heat embossing it to one side, and that's been heat embossed in white. Just picked up clear. There we go. Put that out of the way before I spill it everywhere. And then heat emboss tool. then I'm going to build up my, yes, and it's rubbed out my horrible mistake. So here, this is just going to be wet glue. I'm not going to raise this on dimensionals. It's going to go in the middle. Bring that down a bit. Wet glue on here. And then this is going to go like that. So this is just going to have a little bit of glue, not on all of it, just on the bottom layers of the plant. And then so that is, it's not going to go off the actual card base, because it's got some layering there. So I'm just going to get some dimensionals and pop this on here, and then it's a case of building your layers. So slightly different plant pot, but just showing you the versatility of not having exactly the same sort of plant pot. So I've got a different one here, and then I have glued this. I'm going to do a bit of card layering onto a brown early espresso card, and this is just making it just pop a little bit more. You're creating, with the card layering, you're creating depth too, and you're creating dimension, because some of it is raised and some of it is flat. You're creating texture with the wood grain effect, and that's it. Done. Slightly different. So that's your third card. So the last card is a square card. So that's the one. And then again, that's your insert. I'm going to leave that to one side. Leave the card base to one side, and that we're going to colour a little bit. This we're going to stick on, but first of all, the first layer we are going to get some grey. So this is grey granite, and I could do grey granite, but I'm going to try smoky slate because it's slightly lighter. Always cautious. I might can't remember what I did now. So I'm going to do that again. So I'm going to take the excess off, and again squirrely motions up the side. Take the excess off. And if you want to, just take the excess off and just try and pick up that grain a little bit more. Obviously, if you haven't got these colours, then you'd use something very similar. You know, you don't have to have these exact colours, but I'm just showing you what I used. So then you can see here that I have used the smoky slate again. Now obviously this is on white, so I'm going to be very, very careful. I don't want to have too much colour. I just want to have a little bit. Just see, I think I've gone too much on there, but what I can do is use that bit to cover it with the glasses. Just going to do a slight bit on here. Now you see that is a little bit too much, I think, but again, I think what I'll do is cover it with the glasses. There's always a way for your mistakes to be covered up. So that's black memento, and what have I used here? I owe you one or several. So let's do put that on. Let's test it. It's going to go on the side. Right, I'm then going to build up my layers. So got everything in place. That's going to go there. I think I'm going to put some glue on here if I can get some out. So putting the bad bits to this side, sort of in down a little bit, and then that is going to go there, so it'll cover up my mistakes. That on here. And leave that to one side. So then I've got to put my twine around here, and I need that to one side. Tightish. Put a little bow on there, and then adjust it. So that one is that one. Tighten it and then put it to one side a little bit more, and cut the tails off to your desired length. And then sort of move it around a little bit. Oops. glasses have gone skew with. Now the other thing what I did on here, if you can see on here, I'll show you another little sort of technique. I'm just trying to find my grey. Got dark smoky slate. So what I've done, I want to get rid of that white space a little bit. I mean, obviously that is going to go on it, but you can just flick and you can get a bit of just spots, just a little bit, just to create. You have to be careful of your nibs, obviously, with that. Just do it just a little bit. And I'm just creating a few sort of spots there so that it gets rid of the white space, really. Now the other thing is with this cocktails, you could sort of move it so it's slightly semicircular-ish, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do little blobs of wet glue, and you really do need little blobs because it just squidges out, and place it where you want to. Whoops. There we go. So that is going to go on top here, and I think it would be nice to put it on some dimensionals. And just get that out. Oops. Take your pick tool when I haven't got any nails. And then you're just ready to layer up. And you are done. So there we go. There, central. And that's going to go in the middle, like that. Wet glue is my favourite, so I always use wet glue, and I think it's cheaper as well in the long run. So there we go, ready. Just, it's a bit long. There we go. So we are ready. We are done. Let's take this horrible bit of sheet away, and we can see what we have made. We've got 4 cards using the lovely sponge Dauber technique. Oh dear, it's such a mess. There we go. Let's see what you can see. So we've just then got this one and this one. Let's see if that's in shot. There we go. Using the sponge Dauber technique. So I hope you enjoyed that, and you have learnt from that. And you can see it creates so much more depth, much better than just being flat on the page, and I think creates texture as well. So thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for purchasing my class in a box, and I will see you next time. See you. Happy stamping! If you like this video, please click the like button below and please subscribe and select the bell icon to all to receive notifications of when I upload. Thank you.